wood burns when it gets hot by making gas, and then the gas is what makes the flame. And so wood itself, it needs to be changed into gas to burn. A rocket stove has a small chimney above the flame, which does a pretty good job. 50 to 70% of the smoke and the gases will combine with the flame and get burned up. But if you want to do a better job, you're going to have to add a fan to it. This increases the mixing, which then results in really good, very low emission results from burning wood. And then if we're making pellets or bundling our renewable biomass, then you can put that into a container with some bottom air and a lot of top air. The flow of the gases and the flame and the smoke all come together, and you get extremely good mixing, which results in a natural draft stove that is almost as clean as propane. So we are living in a new age, which can feature new natural gas made from biomass. So this is a bigger version of a gasifying stove, where we have made the combustion chamber out of the cylinder, and it's providing the right amount of bottom air and a lot of secondary air, so that a small amount of pellets, in this case 1 kilo of pellets, is burning, all top lit. All that gas is coming up, and then it's exploding into flame under the plate. You get very good mixing, and that is then hitting the wok. The wok there's two parts to a good stove. The first part is having really clean combustion. The second part, which is equally as important, is to have really good heat transfer. So underneath this wok, we have a channel which has a small gap, the appropriate gap, to increase heat transfer but not disturb the draft, and so that we're using that heat in a very efficient way to heat the wok. Now we're told by our partners in China that a wok has to be very high power. So this stove easily is the highest power stove that I've worked with. It boils 5 liters of water in 18 minutes from cold start. And then we also were told that we need to have the stove be adjustable, so that when the cook wants low power, they can easily move low power. The way that we've done that is, in a finished model, now this is just a prototype, but you can slide the combustion chamber back and forth, which makes this an infinitely adjustable stove. You can go from 0 power to full power just by pushing a lever. And the cook has control over how much heat goes into the wok, just like they would with a natural gas stove, with a propane stove. We always want to have a chimney on a stove, just to make sure that if some mistake happens, if you get some smoke, that will go out of the kitchen. And so in this arrangement, one of the other things you can do with the chimney stove to make it very efficient is to have the heat come up, hit the wok, and then go down to about right here, where the chimney exits out the back. And that way the excess heat is helping to make sure that the combustion chamber, the heat is not lost, but goes into the wok. And so the trick with a chimney stove is don't have the heat just go directly to the wok, but force it down so that it's insulating the path of the heat before it exits the stove. Well, when we're designing a stove, we always do it under the emission hood. That allows us to make small changes and to see what effect is that having on fuel use and emissions. And so we track CO2, CO, and particulate matter minute by minute using the emission equipment that we make here at Aquavecchio. It's been a very rewarding project to find out that these kind of TLED stoves can be extremely clean. Now, we didn't invent all of this. This was invented by Dr. Tom Reed, Dr. Ron Larson, Dr. Paul Anderson, Paul Wendelboe, who have been very free and great in that they're sharing their knowledge and really trying to help the people of the world with this new way of burning biomass. And so the credit for making the combustion chambers and all of that definitely goes to those folks. What we can do is we can take their ideas and then we can tune it under the hood to try to make little changes that result in most effective heat transfer and lowest emissions. So what happens right here as we zoom into the screen is that we have a flat line condition with CO and particulate matter, while we have extremely high carbon CO2. Now, CO2 is a really good way to look at the firepower of the stove. And so what you want to see is a big difference between CO2 and CO. It is really gratifying that when you have a tuned TLED, you can have almost zero CO and particulate matter while having very high firepower, very high CO2. And so if you want to come back to me, I think that the point of all this is a big thanks to Tom Reed, Ron Larson, Paul Anderson, Paul Wendelboe, and many other people who have worked tirelessly to create what really is close to a miracle. This is biomass being burned almost as clean as natural gas. And then, of course, the rest of it, the heat transfer side, we learned from Dr. Larry Winiarski, who has tirelessly pursued heat transfer to reduce fuel use. So, thank you very much.